Down to rise, just pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, right to the regular meeting. Thank everyone that came for this one. We're on our third one of the night, and this is it, after a bunch of stuff. Okay, so roll call.
Mr. Douglas?
Here.
Mr. Barber?
Here.
Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Mr. Irwin?
Here.
Mr. McDonald?
Here.
Courtney, Water and Sewer Superintendent. Bob Winnup, Zoning Officer. Gabe Drolette, Dog Officer. Michael Farrell, Highway Superintendent. Mr. Favreau, Town Attorney. And Pamela Barber, Confidential Secretary to the Board.
Okay, we have Diane here, our town clerk, and we got John Ryan and residents, and highway workers, and okay. That being said, I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of December 30th that we had over at the courthouse.
I'll make that motion.
Carol made the motion.
Second.
Second by Rick. Any discussion? Well, look great, like normal. Thank you, Diane. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain from that, seeing how I wasn't on the board.
Okay. You good? No? Okay. So 4 ayes, Craig wasn't on the board at that time. So we're good. I need a motion and a second to accept all reports. Water Sewer of Elkhorn, Highway, Town Clerk, Document Officer, Youth Department, Code Zoning, Supervisor Report, Court Report, Website Report, JCO, and Bacon Reports. I need a motion and a second to accept all the minutes into the meeting.
I'll make it.
John Douglas,
A second.
second by Craig. Any discussion? Roll call, Diane.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay. Number 6, setting aside up for
John.
community input.
John, I can't read it.
You sound like my wife now.
Something time.
I'm just curious about why the meeting time was changed.
I talked to everyone and every department head and everyone that's assessed with the time of our meetings. It's always been 7 o'clock. Other towns have gone to 6 o'clock. So other towns have gone to 7 o'clock. Some towns have gone to 5:30. And 6 o'clock works out for this board. It didn't work out with past boards, but it works out for the board, our attorney, our town clerk, our secretary to the board, our highway, our water sewer, and it works out for everyone that's here all the time, and Bob. And
How's that
Okay.
work out for you?
Fine. I just had to eat a little earlier.
the biggest thing is John, Pam, Bob. Pam and Bob are one of the biggest two. You know, they get done at 4:30. They go home for an hour. Bob travels, and then they come right back. Where this kind of keep us here. I mean, most time Pam doesn't go. She stays right here the whole time for over 2.5 hours, and it hurries up the process and not getting out here so late at night either. Yeah, and I think summertime will definitely help a lot too by having extra
No.
hour.
No, if a lot of the public came to the meetings, I think it would be better at 7, but they aren't coming. So.
No, they're not. Nope, as you see. I mean, it's been 2 years, and I think the most we've had is tonight, honestly. Yeah.
Right. The other one was liaisons. I'm just wondering what the job description really for a liaison is. How does a liaison perceive his responsibility?
Liaison, more or less, if there's an issue with the department or if there's questions from concerned citizens, and if there's things that they would like to see more or less happen in the department or try to work out things to happen, it's nice to have at least 2 people on each, which we have this year, 2 people on each department. And then they can bring it back to the board instead of, as you know, the board can't, I mean, they can in some regards, I mean, but it's not the wisest thing to have like 3 people who are talking to Mike and then having discussion of what they want to do when it's a majority. So that's why we put 2 on each, and the easiest access to whoever they can get a hold of during the day or whatever, or whoever wants to be more involved, just talk to them. But like I said, that does not eliminate that everyone on this board doesn't get involved in every department anyways, but it kind of narrows it down where if we have an issue or someone, and you can go to, you can go to anyone, obviously, we know that, but.
Is it kind of it's not a supervisory thing, but if they see problems, is it their job to report back to the board?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. If there's a problem with anything, this board it's all open. It's all great communication. We all talk to each other. I mean, it's going to continue doing that. Me and Ricky go to court every Tuesday. Planning board, zoning board. Ricky, Mel, and myself, we come to zoning planning boards. Jim, different boards, different things. Bob, I mean, people talk to Bob all day long. Mike, I think everyone goes and visits Mike. And Craig did that years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. He was doing the same thing, so it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's been here.
I'll be around, Courtney.
There's no requirement for them to spend, there's no specific requirement for them to make X number of visits. They're just.
No, it's just communication and making sure if there is
If I can
issues.
speak, it helps as a department, that we know who to speak to if we do have an issue or whatever. We have to, and again, I think that this board has been aware of the issues that, the Code of Zoning Department has, and I think these other government can say the same thing. So it's just nice for us to know that who we have as a liaison.
How about if a problem is perceived within a department, where does the supervisor rank in solving that problem versus the other board members?
If the superintendent can't control it within his department, even though they let us know what's going on, they will get us involved as a board. I mean, I can't remember the last time that we've had to get involved over the last 2 years. I've got involved in some things where you speak to people,
Does the supervisor have any more authority than the other board members?
No, the supervisor has 1 vote on a 5-member board.
Yep.
He has more responsibilities, but no more authority.
So if he perceived a problem in whatever office, we'll say one supervisor wasn't getting along with the secretary or something. Whose job is it to resolve it?
Superintendents, Mike and Courtney, more or less. Superintendents.
Well, you get into civil service there.
Well, ideally what would happen in a situation like that is that one of those people would go to one of the board liaisons, talk about the problem, that person would then let the board know, it would likely require an executive session. And then if there's a vote to be taken, it's, like I said, it's a 5-member vote. Brandy doesn't have any more authority to work out a problem or tell somebody to move desks or do something than Mel would. That's why it's that way. People think supervisor, like you get to control stuff, but if you look at the town law manual, it states, I think very clearly, almost word for word, the supervisor has no more authority than any other board member, but does have more responsibility. So it's more work and less say-so, I guess.
But Mike and Courtney have the rights to write up somebody in their department. They talk to their liaisons or talk to the whole board, but they have that rights to do that, and that has been done. But that stays within the discipline of their department. If it gets serious, it has not at all for 2 years minimum, if not longer. If it gets serious, then it goes to Bonnie Black, and it will go to the county. And we've had meetings, in the past, not recently, where we have to get her involved. But that's been years, a lot of years, probably 6, 7 years.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other community inputs? Moving along. Okay. Number 7 and number 8 are 2 things that Courtney wanted to have on here. It's a motion resolution, so I need a motion second of standardization of control system for the wastewater system. Courtney, if you want to explain what that means exactly, I know what it means, but
the standardize of the controls is as we move future projects, and some of the controls of the plants. So it's trying to eliminate getting a mixed match of different vendors, so everything operates the same and is interchangeable. Kind of the same thing with the bigger power systems. Right now we have all one standard brand, one vendor that comes up, does the maintenance. We're trying to keep that standard for the upcoming projects.
Any questions for Courtney on this? I mean,
Does that take us out of competitive bidding to some degree?
Depends who can locally bid on. You might have more vendors that deal with that same product.
Okay. So we still got some
I'm not sure, you
competition.
might have some competition, there might be some that restrict their vendor to cover, a certain part of New York State. It's more for the fact of dealing with the maintenance and the issues and spare parts wise, instead of having a mix.
Yeah, that part would make
Yeah.
perfect sense. I just
10 different 40 kW generators, that are all different brands, different parts, different vendors to work on them.
Yeah.
We would hope to get something that can integrate with the waters, instead of having, two separate systems.
Where's Aqua Logistics Systems located?
I can't tell you that very
Not locally.
loud. Not local. I believe they're in New York,
Yeah.
out by Syracuse.
any other discussion on that one? If there is, we can have it after the resolution. Okay, Diane, resolution.
Resolution approving the standardization of water and wastewater system controls equipment. Whereas one of the missions of the town board is to in part provide treatment of wastewater in an environmentally sound manner for the town's sewer districts in accordance with New York State DEC requirements and provide safe drinking water to the town water districts in accordance with the New York State DOH requirements. Whereas the town has undertaken design improvements to its water treatment facilities and wastewater treatment facilities. Whereas the town has contracted with Aqualogic Systems Incorporated for related controls and integration of water treatment facility improvements. Whereas the town board finds that this action is reasonable and proper. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board is in full support of naming Aqualogic Systems Incorporated as the integrator of record for future water and wastewater system improvements for the purpose of control systems continuity and future ease of maintenance, and be it resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Any more discussion on this, guys? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay. Moving right to number 9, same kind of resolution, discussion. Standardization of power system, generator, and automatic transfer switch for water and wastewater systems. This is exactly what Courtney just explained, exact same scenario. So I need a motion and a second on this.
Make the motion.
Craig made the motion,
I'll second.
second by Mel. Diane?
Resolution approving the standardization of water and wastewater power systems equipment, whereas the standardization of systems and equipment can accomplish the purposes of safety, efficiency, and economy in service and maintenance costs, whereas the systems and equipment presented for standardization are applicable to the drinking water and wastewater treatment systems and facilities, whereas the systems equipment presented for standardization are presently maintained within the water or wastewater treatment facilities. Whereas standardized systems and equipment for the water and wastewater treatment facilities shall be comprised of the following: Kohler power systems generator and automatic transfer switch. Whereas the town board finds that this action is reasonable and proper. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board is in full support of naming Kohler Incorporated as the integrator of record for future water and wastewater system improvements for the purpose of power systems continuity and future ease of maintenance. And be it resolved that this resolution shall take effect.
Any discussion on this? Roll call.
Mr. Garber?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Oh, that
Oh,
one's off there.
oh, wait, I'm just reading right there. How about Mr. Bruno and Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, we had to do it once. I had to be on there once.
Only one's too, the next one's good. That's funny.
And I'm just reading.
Okay. Number 9. Number 9, discussion. Rick talked to me the other night, or the other day, I can't remember if it was the other night or the other day. He would like that solar farm ordinance be on here just for discussion tonight. Rick, you want to address, and then Matt can also fill in a little bit, and maybe what we should do, and
At the last zoning board meeting, they asked me to come to the town board. The solar farms, they started at Swigert, and they asked Carl if he wanted to lease his property because it's next to the three-phase line. He said no, he'd rather keep it in farmland. So Remolards are still farming that. They then went to Mark and Neil Hamilton's, and the 15 acres down there, they said that they would lease that for solar farms. So that is going to be turned into one. I went down to Alan Dixon's, down to the Rock Road Schoolhouse, and Mr. Dixon came out and told me that they're working on the Nelson Road line down there. That's three-phase, and they have approached him about putting in a solar farm in the field behind the one-room schoolhouse. He said, I would like to sell that to the Remolards, but if they don't buy it, what can I lease this to them for a solar farm? And I said, well, that's something we'll have to discuss, but I would assume you probably could. But because any place where that where a three-phase line is going through, these people are interested in leasing for solar farms. So I mentioned it to Brandy the other night. We, as a board, should come up with some kind of ordinance or law to help the zoning board out. Because they set a precedence with the Hamiltons by when they said that that could go through. So I said, well, I brought that to this board to discuss it.
So I know we had kind of an ad hoc committee meet one time. We had Trevor Cole from the town of Plattsburgh, the planning director, come down and speak to us. And I think even Matt and I had discussion on this. Was their ordinance, being the town of Plattsburgh, was pretty complete. I think it was well thought out, and it made sense for this board to at least look at what the town of Plattsburgh had and maybe, adopt. Obviously, it's going to take some tweaking, but maybe adopt what they have, because we have quite a bit more ag land than they do. But I don't know how this board felt about it, but.
And the other thing is, I mean, in the near future, we could set up a meeting. We could set up like a workshop, or if there is concerns or residents with concerns.
So right now, there's just there's nothing in the zoning code that references solar farms, and the Hamiltons, which Rick was speaking about, they had to get a use variance to allow for that, for their solar farm on that 14-acre lot. So, yeah, I understand, it's something that should be addressed and looked at, because it's
Well,
getting more and more
I'm in
popular.
no shape, way, or form against it, but we should have
Something on the books.
We should set up some kind of guidelines for it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I know Matt went to a class we had down at the Clinton Community College.
There's a lot of stuff they
A
talk
lot of
about,
stuff is,
like only allow it in certain zones.
yep,
Put some parameters around as far as screening goes,
Sure.
height, size, make sure you get a big enough
decommissioning,
bond for decommissioning.
yeah, there's some,
But we can do that, you either do it with an ordinance, law, or you can just do it on a project by project basis
Yeah.
too, but then you kind of get into spot zoning and have some other issues,
Yeah.
so you can wait and see if another project comes up and look at it then. I think Brandy's suggestion of having a workshop and getting some community input, at least that way, whatever we do, people can come in and kind of give us, do you want it, do you not want it, where. And usually the town of Plattsburgh one as a guide is a good one. Theirs is maybe too particularized for the town of Peru, but it's very well thought out and laid out, and I think it'd be a very good starting place for us.
Well, and my reasoning behind this was there's not very many places in town that are agriculture that have those big three-phase lines going through. I mean, there's not a lot of them around. So these guys are picking and looking around to see where they are. And Remelards just happen to have a pile of property that's right next to all those three-phase lines.
Yeah, but they're not gonna want them in places that are nowhere near a line or a grid, so you're not,
Right.
I mean, you can probably look at a map and figure out that
Where
maybe a
they
couple
want
hundred
to put
acres
it.
at most where these might go at some point.
Mhm.
And there, obviously, there's a difference between a commercial farm and residential use, and the town of Plattsburgh, again, breaks those two out
Yeah.
very nicely, so you know right away what you're gonna be looking at.
Is there a restriction on how big they can make them or anything like that?
I believe there is, but I don't know if it's by like size or acreage or by total wattage that it could produce. I kind of think it's the second one, but I'm not sure. But you can restrict it however you want to.
The one at Hamilton's, the same size panel that they approved, the technology is growing in leaps and bounds already. That same size panel can put out twice as many watts as what the first one they approved. And they went back and asked Mark if they could put that one in, and Mark said no.
No, because it was.
It's
approved.
already approved
It's already approved.
this. We're not putting in a bigger one. This
I
is
think
what's approved.
I think you approve wattage and not size, right?
Yeah.
Like,
On that.
so many kilowatt
Yeah.
farms.
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
But it's amazing.
But that's gonna get looked at again, like I said, if the same size panel can now generate twice the electricity.
Yep.
To me, it's always made sense to do it based on acreage. Why does it matter how many kilowatts, hours, whatever the thing's gonna produce? If it's taking up 14 acres or 4, right.
That's what I mean too.
So you can look at it both ways.
Okay, so is February 10th okay, you think, or should we,
Yeah.
give us a meeting in between and February 10th, have a little workshop? 5:30,
Yeah.
half an hour?
Do you want me to,
Trevor Cole?
well, yeah, we can certainly ask
He
Trevor, but
was very helpful last
yeah,
time.
but also
He was
the folks that were here before that kind of invited?
That, and if we can get a copy of the town ordinance and circulate to the
Yeah, I
board
have.
ahead of time, so if the board members can look at it.
All right, I'll send it to all you guys, right?
Yeah, invite everyone involved, that will be helpful.
Okay.
Maybe leave a couple copies in your office if the public wants to come get it, or post it on the website, or wherever we can, just so people can look at that ahead of time for ideas.
All
Right,
right,
anyone on the planning and zoning, have them come if they can. But Trevor Cole was really
Yeah.
useful last time,
Yeah, he
with his
knows.
knowledge, he knows in and out.
You think it's starting earlier, February 10th, or right at?
February 10th, 5:30.
Yep.
5:30 workshop to 6. As we know, a lot of times not many people show up, but you never know. So I need a motion and a second to have a workshop to talk about the solar farm ordinance.
I'll make the motion.
Made a motion by Mel,
Second.
Rick, second. 5:30, February 10th, just before our 6 o'clock meeting.
who's inviting Trevor, you want me to email?
Yeah, absolutely, please. Or anyone that you can think of that in that circle, that would be useful for that meeting, workshop, I should say. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Discussion is really not a motion, it's just a discussion. We put this on every meeting since the sewer project was talked about. Courtney, any new updates other than what we discussed tonight in our hour?
No, just no other tonight. That's the next big step, is to get those all signed, hopefully in a timely manner, so we can get up to bid.
Pam?
AES would like the board to give them a few dates they'd like to meet in February to update all the projects.
Did they say a time, how long?
They did.
Okay, so why don't we put some tentative dates out there? Because we usually give it an hour, but let's not do that before a meeting, because then it's cutting it real close. So let's, in February, you said? Who's available February 3rd or February 17th? We have tried to stick to Mondays if we can. 17th. 3rd or 17th, you wanna shoot for like a 6 o'clock 1 hour, or 5 o'clock 1 hour, whatever you guys think. You guys tell me.
I'm not gonna be here the 17th.
Okay, every 3rd, good for everyone?
Just an update?
Yeah, to go over.
Yes, I believe. Compensation time discussion for highway department. Mike wanted this on it.
Okay, this is, before, we had come to an agreement this last round with the union negotiations, myself, Mel and Brandy, but since then, the union is in the process
Getting dissolved.
dissolving. This used to be 80 hours. We dropped it back to 40. So we kind of met in the middle with this last round at the 60. The guys are good with it. They don't, if I need them, they don't take it off. There's a little over half of them use the comp. And most of the time, they take it 2-3 hours at a time. They don't usually use a day. So it's, you know, with the way it's going with the budgets, last year we were over 10,000 in a hole in overtime, so it does kind of pay you back. They don't leave me short-handed, so I have absolutely no problem with doing it because we've never had an abuse of time there. So I'd like to see it go back to the 60. It'll help. Definitely, I mean, we're still gonna have to up the overtime for 2021 because these storms are coming almost every day. There's just little pedals, but it costs you just as much money for a half-inch of snow as it does for 6 inches, so. And then you get like the other night with the ice, you just gotta keep going because you don't know where it is and where it isn't, so. I'd like to see that and just see if the board would approve it, that's why I put it on the agenda.
Like I said, Mike, in the meeting, we had discussion with the union, of course, we couldn't have more than 3 of us in the union discussions and stuff. I had no problem with it back then, I still don't have a problem with it, as long as you, as a highway superintendent, has no issue and you can work around and your guys don't, you know, it works out good, it's been working good, and it saves us on as much overtime as we give for the work, so I have no issue with it.
So they take the comp time not as overtime?
Every hour of overtime is an hour and a half.
Right, so it still, that works out as overtime.
Yeah. Well, if you want to look at that.
But they don't take the pay though,
They don't take the pay.
time, they take off.
Right.
Instead of taking the money in the overtime. They get the same time, but they get more time off, more or less, but no pay from the town.
I think the reason why we switched that is because we did run into problems with it back when I was in council and I remember.
We did, about probably 9-10 years ago, absolutely. And Mike said it's been fine for
Yeah,
a lot, 6-7
The
years.
issue, I never,
Different
the issue wasn't with the highway or with the water and sewer, just the personnel that worked there had
Right,
way more than the
Absolutely.
highway guys and the water and sewer guys.
And that's why we took it back to
If it's
40.
a button,
Like I said, they do get the hour and a half if they work an hour, they get the hour and a half comp time,
Right.
but they don't get paid if they take the time off.
Well, I always defer to the department heads and their situation. If you're-
yeah, and they're all good, I mean, they'll come in the day before and say, hey, you got anything going on or whatever, that's,
If you're good with it, I'm fine with it.
Less money out of your pocket.
yeah.
Less money out of the town budget pocket, plain and simple. And if they work like they have been with you, we're good. I mean, I'm good, I should say.
I'm good.
So we wanna put a motion and a second out there to approve it to go to 60 hours.
I'll make the motion.
Rick made the motion,
I'll second.
second by Mel. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we will put it in there. I mean, it was gonna be, but now with the union
Yeah.
dissolving, it won't make it through there. Okay.
Is that just for the highway department? Because nobody asked water and sewer. Talk to us about it.
Well, he's the one that brought it up for the highway, you wanna
So,
bring it up for
well,
your
I'm just wondering
department?
if it's townwide.
But if you, I didn't ask you.
You wanna bring it up?
Making the decision.
Is it in the handbook as 40
It's
hours?
not, as 60 hours, I think it's at 40 hours because
40,
it's.
in the union contract.
Yes, in the union contract, and it was a handbook contract. We do have to, once this union dissolves, we're gonna have to sit down and look at this handbook and update 4 or 5 things that we know of, and we're gonna get it redone,
Right.
because it hasn't been touched in, 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 years, we wanna update it, but once this unit is dissolved, it's a lot easier because then everyone's on the same rules, the same playing field, and same everything. Courtney, you wanna?
Well, it's fine with me, most of my employees don't get that much overtime anyway, only one probably. My only concern for the future is too many people taking time off at the same time, we can't get work done.
When you
If you
think
get
about
too
that for
high.
your department, Mike has no issue with his
Well,
department.
my guys don't get that much overtime, I don't think. It'd be
You don't
hard for
think
that-
so?
It'd be hard for them.
Okay,
You do definitely need to change the wording in the law, so, or in
Handbook?
the handbook, but according to the handbook, it's supposed to be used within the pay period it's earned.
yeah. We will revise it for sure, like I said, there's at least 4 or 5 things that we got updated in there, we've known about it, and once this is resolved, and
How long do you think before the union dissolves?
well, the paperwork, as we all know, it's been about 6 months that we've been calling emails, and it finally got sent in January 7th, I think it was. Yeah, I know it was January 7th, it finally got sent in, not on hold up of us
43
whatsoever.
pages.
Yeah, 43 pages.
Damn lawyers can write forever.
Yep. But in all reality, it should have been done 6 months ago. And not on the town's hold up whatsoever. None, no one here.
Pam, can I ask you something? Shouldn't she have had those, or she just couldn't find them?
Yes,
Okay.
and probably yes.
Okay,
Or she wanted to make it look like it was not her fault.
right,
As you seen on all the papers, they
Yeah.
were signed a long time ago.
yeah.
It wasn't something that I started signing.
No, I know
You see the
that.
dates on it.
We did the resolution, the certified resolution, how long ago?
Yeah. So, but it's there now and it's gone out to the state.
Good,
Okay?
yes, thank you.
Good. Okay, so that's that. Number 17, update of water ordinance. What about you, Courtney?
Yep, that was me. I think it's time that we go through our water ordinance and update stuff. We've had a couple issues come up, and I think the verbiage in it can be changed. Plus, there's also, I think, some dollar figures in there that have been passed in the past that need to be updated. One's the well, the guy with the high water bills asking about putting a well in. And I don't think it's in our water ordinance. The county's got it covered in the health department wise, but that probably should be something. So I don't know if that's something your office does, Matt, help guide you on it.
Yeah, you and I can look at what's out there now, figure out what you want to update, and we'll figure out how big of a project it's gonna be.
If I remember right, when I looked into the one we have, I'm not sure what law firm typed it up. It doesn't say on it, but
Okay.
it was,
You and I get together the next couple of weeks and start looking at it.
okay.
Where would I find that?
It's on our website. Well, yes. So if not, I have it on my computer. Can email it to you. We got water and sewer one. Got me email it to you.
Yeah, perfect, thank you.
Anything else, Courtney, on that? And you and Matt will get together, and then when there's this more discussion to be talked about, we will get all together.
How many kids that guy got anyway?
I don't know.
I mean, what you told me, that's a lot of money.
It is insane.
It is.
It is insane. I can understand what he wants to do, but
Is it consistent with?
if you have water sewer in front of your place, you can't go to it.
No,
I'm
no,
sure
I
it has to be checked for a week.
County covered
I
it.
totally understand that, but if they're going in and taking 4, 5, 6 showers a day, you gotta cut them off.
So the CEO for Colgate-Palmolive.
Yeah. My girls called me the water Nazi. I said, you guys got 15 minutes and you're done.
15, then put the egg timer in there?
That was it, yeah, I did.
I tried that, it didn't work.
Okay, so there'll be more discussion about this once Matt and Courtney can get together and go over some stuff.
You should just start moving
Okay.
water in the sea.
Any more on this? Besides asking personal questions, Rick?
We're good.
Number 18. Motion, discussion motion, change of, which we kind of already did, but, well, we have to do it formal in the regular meeting. change of regular minutes times, as we discussed in the organizational meeting. We're going from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock, it works out everyone on the board and every town employee here. So, and I called Bob, I called Dave, I called everyone, and made sure. I called Matt, I called everyone worked out good. So, I need a motion, a second, just to have a formal on this meeting.
Make the motion.
Craig made the motion.
Second.
Second by Jim Douglas. And that's from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock regular meetings, all year long. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Number 19, other business. Rick,
I'm good.
Jim,
The only thing, and I'm sure you're probably gonna hit on it, it's two ladies from Apple Valley said wanted me to say thank you to you on the Facebook about the storm coming and stuff. You may be talking about that.
yep, I'm gonna discuss it myself, yep.
They were very thankful that,
Yep.
your offer, something like that.
Yep.
She
Yep.
just said make sure you mention it to Randy, so.
Thank you, Jim. And talking about that, I will get to my other business right now. Kelly Donahue talked to me first thing in the morning, knowing this storm was possibly gonna hit at a certain time. As we all know, we don't have a generator backup here, so I immediately got on the phone with Courtney and asked him about the lift station thing down on Maiden Lane, about getting it over here. The problem with that, and Courtney can tell you too, and we all know about it. That's one thing I love about this board. We all talk all morning long in that morning about this. And Courtney needs that down there when the power goes out. If the power's out here, it's over there, most likely going to be out there on the same line. So that's more important than over here. So immediately after that, I started calling Taylor Rental. I called Heinz Electric. I knew they were sold out the night before, but just in case someone's brought one back. I called Lowe's. I called Tractor Supply. Then I talked to Rick a couple of times, and then all of a sudden Rick called me back, the second phone call, and Hans Welding he works down there until noon during the day. And they had one, and so Rick went down, and I talked to all the other board members too in the meantime, so it wasn't just a Brandy show. I did put in the bottom of the thing that, Rick went down, I didn't say Rick went down, but I said thanks to Rick and Courtney, and if the other town board needs to come in, I'll work it. But the thing is, so Rick went down and got it. Me and Courtney met him over at the water garage. We took it off the truck, blah, blah, blah. We had it all set up. Me and Courtney went down to Plattsburgh, got the wire, got the whips, just in case. With that being said too, obviously communication was throughout this whole board, which is great on something like that. I stayed up to 5:15. I had 4 phone calls. No one needed to come in, lights were flickering on a couple spots on the outskirts. Never went off. There was 2 people with oxygen. They were worried about not having their thing because they didn't have a portable. They didn't have some portable something that needed, the ones that weren't needed power. So, but nothing happened. Nothing happened, which was absolutely great. In the meantime, we were going to rent the generator from Hans Welding at $110 a day. Rick got to work this morning. They went in specially for Rick to pick it up. They opened up the gates, opened up the store. They gave us a bill today for 0. So that's really nice of Hans Welding to do that. No charge at all. We brought it back today. Courtney, great, you guys brought it back. So that was really nice, and to do that. And it was great to get everyone together to get this situated if we had to do this.
Probably wouldn't hurt to send him a nice thank you letter.
Absolutely, yep. And Rick brought the bill, no charge. That's really nice, especially on a Saturday going in and doing all that.
$110 a day.
With that being said, as we all know, this has been talked about for 2 or 3 or 4 years or even longer. We are the only town that doesn't have a battery generator backup transfer switch and all that. That power goes out, we're on natural gas. It needs to be set up. We put a lot of extra money in this town budget for maintenance. $50,000 at that this year. We did 25 extra last year. A generator, backup power, transfer switch, battery backup, cold weather kit, everything. I don't care if you get it from Taylor Rental, Heinz Electric. If Hans has something, we get 3 quotes. We need a 20 kW for this building to run everything in this building. And I would like to put it out there that we get the 3 quotes and we approve. I have not seen 1 quote, and I've seen 4 quotes already. I'm not turning the quotes in. You guys I'd rather have someone else do it because I work for Heinz Electric. I'd rather have someone else get quotes from different places. We approved tonight, we spent $4,950 or less, but not to exceed $4,950. Regardless, our procurement policy doesn't say we gotta get 3 quotes, but I like to get 3 just to compare. It says we only need 2 for 10,000 or under. But I would like to, and Courtney can hook this up. Courtney can get certified. Honestly, it'd be something that we should do regardless if we go Generac or we go Briggs and Stratton or go Millbank. It's something that Courtney's hooked us up in the past with Greg Timmons or by himself too. Courtney, we should send him off to a class. Each of them do it for $300 to $400. He gets certified. Any warranty issues, any maintenance, everything, he's certified to do it. So I would recommend that later on down the road to get Courtney certified. That way he knows and it's all warranty and everything else. You cannot have someone else work on it and have warranty coverage unless they're certified. So, but that's like $350 to $400. It'd be less than 5,000.
For a fence
For
around.
22K then?
For the
Or
generator.
20.
20K then?
20 kids. That's everything set up.
That's a good one.
But maintenance would be, not maintenance, but to put it together and put it in, that's usually $1,500. We'd be saving that with Courtney.
Does that include the transfer switch and
Yep,
everything?
absolutely.
We don't have to pay him when he works that day?
He gets salary. He's salary.
Salary.
He's salary.
Question.
He doesn't get overtime.
We gonna put a fence around it, because we know the vandals that are right here?
We can, they're a solid unit. You
Usually in a
definitely,
lockable cabinet.
it's in a lockable
So they-
cabinet. It's
they
like
can't-
our AC.
They can't do anything to
Well, at
it?
least the ones I've installed are
Okay.
Yeah, they're all-
lockable cabinets.
all right.
You can't get to the buttons.
You can't get to any ones, you can't, just like our AC unit out here, that's like 3,000 to 4,000 out there.
Mhm.
We haven't
Okay.
never, it's a cabinet like that, but a
Yeah.
little bit bigger,
Bigger.
about twice the size.
Cool.
So I'd like a motion and a second to approve, say up to $4,950, but we will still get 3 quotes and just to compare the quotes, to get this rolling, because as you guys all know, Kelly Donahue, and Eric Day, they call all the time, he emails all the time. We're the only one that doesn't have it set up where we don't have to run around for generators and welders.
Well, the other thing is, after the ice storm in '98, I don't know if everybody's aware of it or not, the command center was set up at the fire station.
They don't want it
The
there.
fire station doesn't want the command center set up there. It should be here. They don't want to have everybody going in and out of the fire station. So in actuality, this should be the command center.
It happened during one storm 2 years ago, exactly the same thing. Everyone was going to the fire station the night and a half that we were out of power. When me and Mike and Courtney and everyone ran around this town with our heads chopped off and all the town workers. But everyone was going to the fire station because we had nothing here. That was 2.5 years ago.
I'll make the motion to get 3 quotes.
Okay, and approve up to
And
$4,950.
approve up to
Call it 5,000 even.
5,000 even.
Okay. Got a motion?
I'll second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you guys.
That was pretty easy.
Okay, Diane.
Yep. Okay.
Mel.
No, all set.
Craig.
I want to take the opportunity to say I'm looking forward to working with Richard and Mel. I've never been working with them. I worked with Jim and Brandy, and they were a pain, so I hope you guys aren't. Mr. Fabra, I haven't worked with since he's been approved, and Diane, I'm looking forward to working with you. And thanks for introducing me tonight to everybody. I really appreciate that.
I know who the hell you are.
It's good to be back.
You're welcome back.
That's it.
Okay. Bob.
Good.
Mike.
The state finally got back to me. I am on the state executive highway committee, so I did not run for election for the county and give that up. Timmy DeBrey is going to take my spot there. I am going to a meeting overnight. State pays for it. February 6th or 7th in Syracuse, and we are meeting with county. Is that personnel too to kind of combine, put a little more pressure? As I've said the last meeting, there's a $6.1 billion state shortfall, so to make sure we can continue to get some money for infrastructure.
When's that meeting, Mike?
It's 6th or the 7th.
Thursday or Friday?
It's a Thursday.
So that's 6th, February 6th?
6th.
Can anyone go to that or only a certain amount of people?
I'm not sure.
Find out, because I could go to that if you wanted me to go.
Is it near Turning Stone?
I'm not, no, it's not that Turnstone, I know. Doubletree Inn, wherever that is.
Double tree.
Cross the road.
Probably not. I don't know. But no, if you want someone else to go, I can go. I have extra time, so.
Okay. I'll get you the dates for
Only if it's close.
the Chip trip to Albany. That'll be an important trip again this year. He said, hopefully we can get a few more people to go. Basically all I got right now.
Thanks. Let me know though. Courtney?
Well, we're in the same boat we usually are with this weather. Water production's reduced, coming in the wastewater plant. Thankfully, we got our second clarifier online. We've been doing a lot of maintenance on the clarifiers, finding they're aging out, a lot of issues. Put it back online, but there's still parts we need to fix. Back in, I think, the end of October, the Lake Champlain Basin Program had a grant. I talked with Greg Sport from AES, and it's kind of, it looked like a long shot for some water quality money. But they worked on it, we threw it in, and we actually got awarded $20,000 to help purchase equipment for controlling the phosphorus at the village plant and to help with our chlorine down at the Valcourt plant, because we are struggling to maintain our limit, our new low limit. So that was some good news.
Nice.
Some money in that. So you'll be seeing some stuff come up probably that you gotta sign.
Yep.
And we can get the equipment going. Good. Other than that, just been busy pretty much trying to get maintenance done at the wastewater plant.
Yep. Finally get some sleep Saturday night?
Yeah, a couple hours, and I was back at work.
You didn't get long then?
No.
Thank you for that day to get everything organized and together. Pam?
No, but Courtney forgot to tell them that all your wet testing or whatever went through, you don't have to do it.
All our wet testing for the water plant passed, so thankfully we don't have to do any more, because it's 4,000 a test.
They said all 4 quarters came in good and there's
Wow.
nothing forward to be on this.
Good job.
That just came in today.
How could you forget that?
It's good news.
I guess so, good news like that.
It's testing for what?
It's a wet test, it's a toxicity test on our backwash water going into the brook.
Okay.
And all 4 quarters came
Toxic
back
against
good.
different vertebrates, minnows and stuff in the water.
Keep it up, you get one of them water drops pretty soon.
Pam?
No, you just asked me.
Anything else?
No.
Remind anybody else?
Dave?
No.
Just check the last page of my report, you'll see what the hell happened between January of 19 to December of 19. I'm glad Craig's back, because if I need a relief, he's going to be it.
Yeah, you Rip Van Winkle.
Got that right. That's it,
You were busy.
I don't know. That's when I got guys like you calling me for stupid things.
Just relaying messages, my man.
Okay. Matt?
I'm good.
Okay, there's yes, you, Diane. You're good? Everyone else? Anything else before we close that off? Okay. Public comments on agenda items only.
I just got a quickie on the 40, 60 hour thing. I couldn't quite understand that.
They're allowed to comp right now 40 hours. The highway and the water sewer, they're allowed to comp 40 hours. Say they get called in anytime. They get called in or they have to work.
After 40 hours.
After 40 hours. So they can comp another 20. And what's nice about that, John, and like Mike was saying, and it's great for our budgets too, for overtime, they can get another 20 on top of the 40, because we already let them go to 40 and they had to start using it. Now they can go to 60, and instead of taking the money, they take time off. And as long as they can coordinate with Courtney and Mike, or vice versa, either department, they can coordinate with their supervisor or superintendents, their supervisors more or less, and it saves the taxpayers overtime. They just get more time off during the year.
Okay.
Just turning their overtime money into time off.
Yes.
instead of taking the pay.
So, okay, guys work 40 hours. This week he works 45, so,
Well, no, say you get called in for, my guys get called in for a plugged sewer, they're automatic 2-hour overtime.
Right.
So instead of taking that 2 hours pay, they'll take 3
3 hours.
hours comp time and take 3 hours off during the regular work day.
Instead of taking 3 hours money.
Yeah.
So it saves my budget
Okay.
from having to pay the overtime, and they get.
It's regular.
that's over 40 hours though.
No,
No,
it's overtime.
It's overtime.
right.
Yeah.
It's any,
I think I
it's any
understand.
overtime.
They get paid overtime after 8 hours, correct?
8 hours a day.
No, well, those guys work 10.
10 during the summer. Yeah.
Because it's not on a 40-hour week, you don't.
I see, okay, it's
You could have a
over.
guy out on vacation, so he technically didn't work 40 hours, but if he gets called in, he gets paid overtime because he's off. He's scheduled off. Or like my guys take Fridays off when they're on call for the weekend. You know, if I call them in on that Friday, they're getting.
Okay,
But it's allowing them to comp 20 more hours instead of taking money. And
Okay.
more time off during the year. Which you added up, it's not a lot of time, but it's at least incentive to take more time off and not take cash from the town.
right, okay,
Or their budgets, I should say.
okay.
Any other discussion? Got the agenda, items only?
That's for supervisors, too, right?
That's why you guys get the big salaries. Okay.
One additional thing, is that carried over or not?
Yes.
Carried over till what, March, April?
Don't, that's carry right around.
Okay, right around.
Let's pile it up then.
60 hours maximum.
Okay.
60 hours max. Yeah. Okay. Moving on that one? Or move on? Okay, I need a motion second for the pay the bills.
Make it.
Jim Douglas,
I'll second.
second by Craig Bruno. Roll call, or not roll call, but resolution.
Resolution authorizing the post audit payment of certain claims, bills, and invoices of the town. Whereas the town board has reviewed and audited the following claims, bills, and invoices for services rendered and goods provided to the town in December 2019 or for town approved vouchers, and December 2019 201901 6792, including 2019-0171H, abstract dated 1/13/2020, for the dollar amount totaling $56,992, and of that, $6,013.95 was wired credit cards and prepaid, and $50,978.05 is remaining to be paid, and whereas the town board finds said claims, bills, and invoices to be acceptable in form and reasonable in amount, now therefore be it resolved that payment of the aforementioned claims, bills, and invoices is approved, and the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to make such payment, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Any roll call or any discussion on this one? We do have two of these.
So we're doing the 2020 first.
Yep. So I need a,
I'll make a motion.
No, this
No,
is,
no.
no, this is December, this is December.
this is December, and then the next one's gonna be January.
So they're labeled, yeah, they're labeled.
It's what came in after our meeting
Yeah.
in December. So we have that, any more discussion on the December, through December? Roll call.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Abstain.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay. Now we're going on to January one. I need a motion second to have the resolution read for the January bills now.
I'll make a motion.
Got the motion from Rick,
I'll second it.
second by Greg. Resolution, Diane.
Resolution authorizing the post-audit payment of certain claims, bills, and invoices of the town, whereas the town board has reviewed and audited the following claims, bills, and invoices for services rendered and goods provided to the town in January 2020. From town approved vouchers in January 2020, 20200001 through including 2020000019, abstract dated 1/13/2020, for the dollar amount totaling $66,395.17. Of that, $11,637.86 was wired credit cards and prepaid, $54,757.31 is remaining to be paid, and whereas the town board finds said claims, bills, and invoices to be acceptable in form and reasonable in amount, now therefore be it resolved that payment of the aforementioned claims, bills, and invoices is approved, and the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to make such payment, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Any discussion? Diane has all the bills we can look at after, or they're down here somewhere? Okay, so we can look at them after, and need a roll call.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make the motion.
Okay, made the motion. Second by Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.